Why Canada's student asylum seekers have doubled. Seeking asylum in Canada appears to have become the latest loophole in immigration laws, especially as the International Student Visa Program shows signs of growth since early 2024. According to a report by the Macdonald-Laurier Institute, Canada witnessed a record-high number of asylum seekers in 2023, with 144,000 applications. This staggering number highlights the immense pressure on the country's border and immigration systems. However, the question arises, why has the number of asylum seekers in Canada increased so drastically, and why are some of them international students? Studies suggest that this trend is closely tied to delays in Canada's formal immigration system and the significant rise in living costs. For many, seeking asylum has become a viable, though risky, alternative. Let's delve deeper into this issue to understand why Canada is becoming a preferred destination for international students seeking asylum and examine the benefits, risks, and long-term implications for Canadian society. Reason 1. A backdoor pathway to permanent residency with enticing benefits. Let's be candid. The biggest driving force behind the rise in international students seeking asylum in Canada is the expedited opportunity to become permanent residents. This status comes with more than just the right to stay. Accepted asylum seekers gain access to a range of financial and social benefits. Under the federal government-assisted refugee program, accepted asylum seekers receive housing support, financial aid, and legal assistance to help them settle in Canada. Amid the current economic climate, these supports serve as a lifeline for many. For international students struggling to afford tuition and living expenses, this pathway offers a tempting way to ease financial burdens. Consider the case of Conestoga College, where the number of asylum-seeking students rose by 400% in just 1 year, 2022-2023. Although not all asylum applications are approved, those who succeed in hearings with Canada's Immigration and Refugee Board, IRB, are granted permanent residency, a stepping stone toward Canadian citizenship. With soaring living costs, skyrocketing housing prices, and diminishing job prospects, many international students view asylum seeking as a practical, albeit risky, choice. However, this approach isn't always legitimate. Some students may misrepresent the conditions in their home countries, undermining the immigration system and putting additional strain on legitimate asylum seekers. Nonetheless, this trend underscores the tension between the desire for settlement and the challenges international students face in Canada. Reason 2. Global conflicts and rising instability. To understand the significant increase in international students seeking asylum in Canada, we must consider the global context. We live in an era of heightened instability, with escalating regional conflicts and political crises reshaping migration patterns worldwide. According to the United States Institute of Peace, there are over 137 ongoing conflicts globally involving both state and non-state actors. Recent upheavals, such as unrest in Ecuador and the Red Sea clashes during 2023-2024, have exacerbated global displacement. These unstable regions push people to flee their homes while adding immense pressure on developed nations, including Canada. In this turbulent world, Canada is seen as a haven due to its political, economic, and social stability. International students from conflict-affected countries often view Canada as a safe space not just for themselves, but also for their families. With its open economy and welcoming immigration policies, Canada naturally becomes a top choice for those seeking resettlement. Global crises don't stop at the borders of the countries in conflict. They have ripple effects, forcing developed nations to accommodate large numbers of displaced individuals. For example, the US-Mexico border is grappling with an unprecedented migration wave, while Canada faces similar pressures as more people seek refuge within its borders. For international students, Canada represents not only an educational opportunity, but also a chance to escape turmoil in their home countries. The prolonged conflicts, leave students with difficult choices: return to instability or seek long-term residency in a safer country. The rise in asylum-seeking students is a direct outcome of a world where peace is increasingly fragile. This isn't just Canada's story. It's a testament to the need for global and regional strategies to address the root causes of conflict while easing the burden on host nations. Reason 3. Skyrocketing international tuition fees. While most asylum seekers in Canada are escaping war, famine, or oppression, the sharp rise in international students seeking asylum raises questions about the financial viability of studying in Canada. With average annual tuition fees of CAD 11,500, studying in Canada has become an enormous financial burden for many international students, especially when job opportunities are insufficient to cover costs. International students not only face high tuition fees, but also rising living expenses, including housing, food, and basic necessities. For many, these costs far exceed initial expectations, particularly as Canada's job market struggles to provide adequate part-time employment opportunities. The struggles of international students are no longer uncommon. One stark example involves a report about 22 international students living in a cramped basement to save costs while attending a community college. Such stories highlight the grim reality many students face. Faced with these challenges, the traditional study visa pathway to permanent residency becomes unsustainable. While the study visa route requires prolonged financial stability and time, seeking asylum is perceived by many students as a faster, less risky alternative to achieve permanent residency. Instead of enduring ongoing financial pressure and uncertain prospects, they turn to asylum as a way to access Canada's government support systems, including housing and financial aid. The rise in asylum-seeking students highlights flaws in Canada's education and immigration systems while adding strain to an already overburdened refugee support framework. It also raises serious questions about the accountability of Canadian educational institutions in attracting international students. Are they truly providing the infrastructure and support necessary to ensure international students can sustainably live and study? High tuition fees combined with surging living costs are pushing many international students to seek easier alternatives, a trend that carries long-term consequences for both the students and Canada's immigration system. Reason 4. Avoiding the shame of returning home. An often overlooked yet significant factor behind the rise in asylum-seeking international students is the fear of shame upon returning home. The notable increase in asylum seekers from South Asia, particularly India, underscores the immense social pressure and strict expectations many students face. According to CBC, the number of Indian asylum seekers rose from just 20 in 2014 to 3,469 in 2022, a staggering reflection of this phenomenon. For many students from South Asia, studying in Canada isn't just a personal decision, but a communal investment. Families often save for years or sell assets, hoping their children will succeed abroad and send money back home. This creates a massive burden, as every dollar invested represents the collective dreams and expectations of their families. The reality in Canada, however, often falls short of these expectations. Some students find themselves unable to pay tuition, lose their study visas, or fail to secure meaningful employment. These circumstances derail their plans for educational and financial success. Returning home empty-handed isn't just a personal failure, it carries profound social stigma. In some communities, failing to succeed abroad equates to losing face with one's family and society, a humiliation many cannot bear. This fear often outweighs the challenges they face in Canada. For many, seeking asylum in Canada becomes the last resort to avoid returning home in perceived disgrace. While this path is fraught with risks, it is often seen as less painful than confronting unmet expectations from family and society. This situation affects not only individuals, but also their families and communities. For source countries, it highlights the intense social pressures and unrealistic expectations many young people endure when pursuing opportunities abroad. Understanding these deep-rooted motivations is key to shaping more empathetic and informed immigration and asylum policies. These personal stories are not just statistics in immigration reports. They represent the complexity of difficult choices faced by international students in a high-pressure global context. Reason 5. Backlogs in Canada's traditional immigration pathways. Canada's traditional immigration system, known for its diverse and attractive programs, is now facing a major challenge: severe backlogs. These bottlenecks not only delay processing, but also impose high costs and uncertainty on applicants, driving many to seek asylum as a faster, cheaper alternative to settle in Canada. Mainstream immigration pathways, such as temporary resident visas, TRVs, currently have significantly extended processing times. For example, French citizens applying for a TRV may wait up to 290 days for approval. For many, such lengthy waits are not just inconvenient, but also a major barrier, especially with no guarantee of success. Amid these delays and high costs, asylum seeking emerges as a more feasible option for many foreigners. The process is perceived as less expensive, faster, and offering an equal opportunity to remain in Canada. Unlike traditional immigration channels, asylum seekers avoid hefty fees and protracted waiting periods. This trend reveals a clear shift in how people approach immigration to Canada. For those weighing their options, the economic factors and uncertain timelines of the traditional system push them toward asylum as a more practical choice. The situation not only increases pressure on the asylum system, but also exposes weaknesses in Canada's current immigration framework. Backlogs and extended processing times create a vicious cycle, where mainstream immigration channels are clogged and asylum applications rise. This underscores the need for more efficient processing times and clearer immigration pathways within Canada's system. Such improvements would not only relieve pressure on the asylum system, but also ensure greater fairness and transparency for all prospective immigrants. Conclusion. As we conclude this discussion on the surge in international students seeking asylum in Canada, it's important to adopt a realistic and empathetic perspective. This is not a critique of Canada's asylum system or those seeking safety and stability. Instead, the issue lies in how the Canadian dream is often sold without adequate regulation, painted as a land of endless opportunities and resources that reality cannot always match. Many arrive in Canada with unrealistic expectations, only to face immense challenges, from high living costs and financial pressures to prolonged immigration hurdles. This not only harms individuals, but also puts strain on Canada's social and immigration systems. Providing honest, comprehensive information from the outset is crucial to help prospective immigrants better understand the challenges and prepare adequately. A balanced portrayal of Canada, its opportunities and difficulties would enable people to make more informed decisions and avoid unnecessary hardships. We always emphasize to those considering Canada, be well prepared. This includes having proper legal documentation, seeking legal counsel, setting clear career goals, and developing a sustainable financial plan. Canada is a wonderful country with many opportunities, but success here requires careful preparation and a realistic outlook. Finally, Canada needs a more balanced approach to managing its immigration and asylum systems. Global education campaigns can help reduce domestic pressures while enabling future immigrants to start their journeys in Canada with stronger foundations. A sustainable Canada begins with setting realistic expectations and providing accurate information to those seeking a new life here. Empathy and transparency are the keys to ensuring the Canadian dream remains a beautiful, yet achievable goal.